Now I'd like to present Dr. Nikola Zezov from the Faculty of Philosophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, representatives of the Macedonian Diaspora, representatives of the UMD, dear attendees, dear Mr. Kolovsky. It is a particular honor to address you here in this conference organized by the UMD, in which as co-organizer is the Faculty of Philosophy, under which Institute of History I am an employee. The satisfaction is even greater when we know that this is an attempt of the Macedonian Diaspora as a Macedonian immigration agency to organize this event here in Macedonia, in the homeland, in which, among other things, we are to talk about the Treaty of Bucharest and the consequences of the signing of the Bucharest Treaty. That is why I greet and welcome this conference and also welcome recommendations and conclusions based on argumentation and facts presented by professionals. Of course, based on the conclusions of this conference, we will have published study both in Macedonian and English language that will be a part of the Macedonian libraries. All the professionals from all fields and areas, from the humanitarian sciences and social sciences, will also contribute to the scientific thought, but also will bridge, will make a bridge for all the professionals and experts in the Balkan and the region, as well as whenever we encounter those that want to work on Macedonian matters. Please allow me to say a few words about 100 years after the Treaty of Bucharest in 2013. This year actually represented milestone. That tragic 10th of August of 2019 and 13 for us represented a historical milestone, destruction of the Macedonian aspirations for creation of autonomous state, but also a beginning and another stage in our Macedonian history. Macedonia, from an ethnographic and economic entirety within the Ottoman Empire, with the provisions of the Bucharest Treaty, was divided among the Balkan states, a small portion in Albania, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Greece. The sent telegrams, declarations, the calls, the letters did not help sent by Macedonian individuals, Macedonian organizations in Bucharest. They were deaf and blind to the creation of autonomous state. The Macedonian matter was, and the question was, one of the last unresolved issues in Europe. The consequences of the Treaty of Bucharest were devastating for the country and Macedonian people. The migration to the neighboring countries and to the countries overseas, the poverty of the citizens left as minority, destruction of settlements, destruction of villages, the lack of recognition of the Macedonian ethnicity, and the attempt of making the Macedonian issue Bulgarian or Greek or Serbian was devastating for the years and the decades to come. Almost every other following major global conferences confirmed the unfairness and injustice of the Bucharest Treaty imposed on the Macedonian country, and that was the chief issue of the background manipulative games of the great powers. The unbearable, insufferable condition and state of affairs of the Macedonian population was heard by the Macedonian intellectuals and the Macedonian revolutionaries, and they advocated for the Macedonian people, stating that Macedonia was only a few hours away of the of the European capitals, is a place where the terror and violence can be compared only with the medieval Inquisition. It's a country where suffered people don't have the elementary human rights to self-declare as Macedonians. And Gozedelchev in one time will say, if every cross will ask for one Golgotha, and for one Golgotha we require only one mountaintop, we will call that Golgotha Macedonia. With the constitution of the Macedonian state in 1944, and even one piece of its ethnographic territory, the Macedonian will strive for a better tomorrow, and the aspirations of all the Macedonian organization, internal organization, VMRO, and all the others strived for an autonomous country. Dear attendees, in such status of affairs, one will ask the question whether the consequences of Bucharest are felt today. The answer is yes. Our country today faces the challenges of being negated, pressured, verbal threats by neighbors, claiming certain historic heritage of the Macedonian name, so we cannot self-declare even today. The unrealized and unimplemented dreams of our neighboring countries are alive today, bringing dark times here in Macedonia. What are we to undertake here? Whether we Macedonians should also revive the spirits of war? No, we cannot do that. The language of hatred are alien to this soil. We are hurting, but we need to employ the language of reason. The language of a historian weighs more than 100 bullets. I'm sure that not a single Macedonian historian will never call for a war, for an injustice that was caused to the Macedonian, inflicted onto the Macedonian people 100 years ago. But again, we will not stop writing the truth based on historic facts and arguments, but not for the reasons of changing or shifting borders, but just to tell the world that we're not going to forget what happened 1 century ago, so we would avoid cross-bearings, we will avoid Golgothas and other devastating events. In the end, to all the attendees, I would like to wish successful work, a good thought, and let's have this forum as a baseline for academic exchange in the future. Thank you.